have owned my mom's 2022 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S Cabriolet for almost 1 year now, and it has been so far one of the best cars we have owned, in my opinion. I absolutely love driving this thing when I get the chance to, of course, and I love riding it, and I think this is one of the best cars we have owned. This is the first ever car that we have spec'd from new with the options we wanted it, and I'm super happy with the car. But just like all cars, no car is absolutely perfect, and there are some things over the past almost 11 months that we've owned this thing that I just don't really like about it. So today I'm going to tell you guys the 5 things I dislike or hate about our 2022 911 4S Cabriolet. Let's get straight into this video. If you're new to the channel, this is the first time seeing my face on your screen, don't forget to please click that subscribe button down below for more awesome car content like this. I'm trying to advance my editing. My last video, you guys really liked the editing of it, so I'm going to keep doing that. Thank you so much for all the support lately. I really do appreciate it, and I can't wait to get all the support from you guys so I can become a full-time YouTuber one day. Now let's get back to the 911. Now, we have owned this car for almost 1 year. We took delivery in November because it was stuck in the port in October. Long story short, but anyways, we have absolutely loved this car, and it has seriously been one of the best Porsches out of the 3 we have owned, and I absolutely love it. Now, when I get to these 5 things I hate, I get a lot of hate on my 5 things I hate about blank videos, because I think people feel like I am not super grateful for the cars that I had to have access to and such. But I want to make this clear that no car is perfect. I am just expressing what Porsche could do better in the future. So I just want to make that clear that I absolutely love this car. And you know, to be honest with you, it was kind of hard to find 5 things I hate about this car, because there really isn't anything I do hate about it. But you guys, one of you guys asked for this video, so I'm going to be making it. So let's get started with the first thing that I hate about this. Now, the first thing I hate about this car has to do with the sport design front fascia. Now, this car we optioned with the sport design package. So that includes the redesigned front bumper, and then the redesigned side skirts, so the side skirts down the side there, and then the sport design rear bumper. Now, I think this package makes this car look so much better than factory. So I'll put up some pictures up on the screen of what the factory bumpers and side skirts and fascias look like. Definitely well worth it. It was kind of an expensive option, but it's well worth it because it makes it look like a 911. I feel like these base, the base ones look fine. I just think that these look way better, and so does my mom. At the end of the day, this is my mom's car. I did help her spec it. But I want to talk about the front fascia. Now, the sport design front fascia is kind of weird. So obviously, it looks like a normal front fascia. It kind of looks like the 991.2 911s, where with these things here and then the separate intercoolers. But for whatever unlike the stock front fascia, the bottom lip here is painted with the car, which looks really cool, instead of like normal plastic. As well as, if you notice, it actually comes down. So unlike it just stopping like right here, it actually comes down, making it like you really have like a good few inches off the ground. Now, we weren't really thinking this through because we also optioned it with the PASM Sport suspension. So it is lowered 15 millimeters in the front and the rear from the stock car. Now, this combining with the 3 inches we have up here and the low ground clearance basically all around the car makes this difficult to drive up, slopes and hills, thus resulting in the fact of my mom scraping the underside of this car. Now, before I show you guys, I just want to let you know that, I found it, it happens. It's a car, it's the city, my mom loves driving it, and unfortunately, we did not option it with the front axle lift. Now, I'll get to why we didn't option it with that, because this would have solved that issue. But as you guys can see, if I put the car under this camera under here, you can see the PPF is starting to kind of peel, and this is all the scrapes under here. Now, before you guys say, oh, your mom should learn how to go up on angle, you know, it's still too low. Even if I did teach her how to go up on an angle, it just happens. It's the city. Boston and Massachusetts in general has really bad driveways and inclines. So unfortunately, that is just what happens when you have a low car like this. Now, what's the thing I hate about it, you may be wondering? Well, it's because that this comes down so low, and combining it with this, the PASM Sport suspension, I feel like it should have an automatic upgrade to have front axle lift if you get these two things combined, because otherwise other people are going to do this, and I really feel like that's a issue with Porsche. You know, we've read when optioning this car of optioning it with front axle lift, and we were going to. However, we removed that option last minute because I've read on so many forums that the 911 does not need front axle lift. It's actually such a daily drivable car to the fact that it's at a normal ride height for a sports car, to where you don't need front axle lift. You don't need to spend the $3,000 extra on front axle lift. And you know, with this car, we really did not want to get all the bells and whistles with it, so we ditched it. And do we regret it? Absolutely. But you know, after experiencing this, I just kind of wish that Porsche would just automatically add it if you get the Sport Design front fascia, because just a warning, it comes down lower to the ground. Plus adding the PASM Sport suspension, it makes it for a lower, you know, ride height. And we've never had this low of a 911 before. My mom's previous car, a 991.2 Carrera S, it was pretty much a base car. She never scraped on anywhere on that car, and her previous one, her 718 Boxster, obviously did not scrape. So this is the first low Porsche we've owned, but we do plan on getting it fixed when we sell the car. So whenever we sell the car in the future, we do plan on getting it fixed. So that is the first thing I hate. Let's move on to the interior. The next few things I'm going to talk about do involve the interior, so let's step inside here to talk about the next thing, and that has to do with the center console, and the number 2 thing is piano black trim. Now, as you can see, well, obviously, all of this here is piano black. Now, I love piano black trim. I have a really big love-hate relationship with piano black trim. I love the look of it when it's clean, but when it's dirty, it looks gross, and it just has so many downsides because, you know, piano black trim is plastic at the end of the day, and shiny plastic scratches. So that is what happens with this piano black trim. As you can see, it's all around the heated seat and the cooled seat buttons. It goes up here, and it goes up into where the few air conditioning tabs are. But what I don't like about this is just how much of it in a high use place there is. I don't understand why Porsche continues to add piano black trim when they have so much nicer trim options. For example, up here we have the upgraded matte carbon fiber dash here, and the matte carbon fiber follows through here. It follows through over here on the door on the side here. So I don't understand why Porsche can't just continue the trim up to here. Now I get it. You want to leave this piano black here? Fine, because you know, no one goes up here, but it's really just down here in the high use places. I find it really irritating. This is the only piano black on the entire car, and I don't understand why Porsche just allows this to happen. The previous 911, the 991.2 or the 991 911s, they did not have piano black here. They had actual trim going up the center console, and that looked good, and you had the option to add piano black if you wanted it, or get rid of piano black if you want it, and have actual trim rolling up here. So I don't understand what the Porsche's thinking was with them not continuing the trim up here. I guess maybe to, you know, make the buttons flush. I don't know, but I don't want to assume. This is definitely something I just don't like about this car, is the piano black trim. And, you know, if I could solve this, maybe buy some aftermarket trim pieces, I would. But that's just another thing I just don't like about this car. The third thing I don't dislike about this car or hate about this car is the cup holder locations. Now, Porsche was famous for a very long time for the cup holders that comes out of the dash. So they used to be up here, and you used to push the dash in, and the cup holders, like the flap, folded out, and you could come out here. Now, owners did complain about this cup holder mechanism. As cool as it was, it kind of broke all the time. So Porsche, with the 992 generation 911, they redesigned the cup holders and now added one physical cup holder to the car. As you can see, it's right here, and the great thing about it is it doesn't have to be a cup holder all the time. You can swap it out if you want, and there's another bin somewhere in this car where you can swap it out with. But the cup holder is the best one, and you also have a cup holder over here as well, which is pretty cool. So that comes out of the dash. So it still has that sort of DNA from Porsche. But you may be wondering, what's wrong with this? Now, this really applies to if you only have a 7-speed manual 911, because I don't think the automatic 911s have this issue. But for whatever reason, they put the cup holder behind the gear stick, which is interesting because if you have, let's say if you have like a normal sized water bottle here, there is one back here. This is a great representation. Normal sized water bottle, right? This is just an empty water bottle. It fits perfectly in here. But shifting with a water bottle here is honestly kind of impossible. You're gonna hit, every time you want a water bottle here, you're gonna hit the water bottle because it's kind of in the way of like the shift pattern. So I don't know what Porsche was thinking here. I know that they use this same center console for the automatic 911s, but Porsche, I feel like, could have so easily redesigned the center console for a manual 911. They probably didn't because of production and costs, but it's such a simple task because now, if you want to shift easily, you're going to have to not have a water bottle here, and you know, you're kind of down less water cup holder, so you're forced to use this one, which isn't a bad thing, but you know, I'm down a cup holder, so I can't go to McDonald's and get my 2 shakes or whatever. I hate McDonald's, I don't know why I said that. Anyways, you get my point. So the cup holder location kind of sucks. Kind of wish Porsche re-engineered the ones for the manual 911, because when you're shifting, you're obviously not going to want a water bottle there. So that kind of sucks, but you know, solution is no water bottle. So that's what we found. So let's move on to the fourth thing I dislike about this car. The fourth thing I dislike about this car has to be the air conditioning on this car. Now, just like all cars in 2022 and 2023, they are reinventing the air conditioning, which is kind of stupid, and Porsche has fell into that trap. So as you can see, at least they give you some, you know, control of the AC. You can control the temperature here, as you can see. You can control the fan speed here, and you know that, and you also have control of the front defroster and the rear defroster, and you also have AC Max and Auto. But what sucks about this air conditioning is you have to go into the screen, and here you have an icon called air conditioning right on the screen right here, air conditioning, and here you can change the path of the air conditioning, so up, down, middle, wherever you want your feet. This is where you control it, which, coming from a 991 911, it really makes me miss the buttons, especially with a manual transmission where when I'm driving this car, I literally cannot even change the radio station or take a drink of frickin' water because I'm focusing on, you know, shifting gears, making sure I'm not gonna ride the clutch or whatever. So that is just a disappointing flaw with this car, is the lack of air conditioning controls. You kind of have to commit before you're setting off what temperature and where you want it, because if this was a 991 911, I would easily just be able to push a button at a light, but you know, at this car you really don't want to take any chances, so you know, that kind of sucks. So Again, I don't think Porsche will ever change this, but it does kind of suck, and it's a little tiny nickel flaw that I don't like about this car. The fifth thing I hate about this car is the auto rev matching, and out of all the things I've said, I think this has to go up on my list on probably what I hate most about this car is the auto rev matching, or what Porsche calls it, auto blip. So basically, what auto rev matching is, and a lot of new manual cars have it, but basically, when you're downshifting, it kind of matches the RPMs you're going to go into, so it really sounds like you know what you're doing if you don't know how to rev match. Now, I've been driving this car for a little bit, and I know how to drive manual, and I've learned how to rev match, and it's cool. However, when you're driving, when the car does it for you, you can't really do it, and it kind of takes that fun away from this car. Now, you may be thinking, oh, Shep, just turn it off in the settings. Well, you can't, because I've searched on countless Renault and Porsche forums, and there is no way you can turn it off other than putting it into the normal drive mode. So if you have it in, for example, wet or sport plus, auto rev matching is enabled. Only in normal and individual is the auto rev matching disabled. But that has the question though of you're kind of getting those things that you have in Sport and Sport Plus mode taken away from you. For example, the pops and burbles and crackles the exhaust makes with the Sport exhaust, only enabled in Sport mode. I tried putting it individual, it doesn't do that. So you're gonna have to kind of pick your choosing if you want to rev match and hear the normal Sport exhaust without the crackles, or put it in Sport mode and hear the crackles and let the car auto rev match for you. So kind of an infuriating issue. I don't know if anyone knows how to turn it off. Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to know. I will literally thank you for life if you know how to turn this thing off, but I've looked in the settings and I can't find anything. Looked on forums, can't find anything. So that is the fifth thing I hate about this car. I don't understand why Porsche can't just put a setting to turn it off while you're in Sport or Sport Plus mode. But anyways, those are the 5 things I hate about my mom's Porsche 911. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, comment down below what other videos you would like to see, and smash that subscribe button and the like button while you're at it. And I will see you guys in the next video. It is starting to rain, so I'll see you guys next one. Peace.